It's that time of the year. Super 2 is around the corner, and we need to pay attention to prospects. We'll talk about that and more on today's action packed episode of Locked On Fantasy Baseball.
You are Locked On Fantasy Baseball, your daily fantasy baseball podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, fantasy baseball fanatics, and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Baseball podcast, brought to you by the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. As always, we're your number one source for fantasy baseball knowledge, and thank you for making us your first listen each and every day. I'm your host, Matthew Ane. You can find me Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, at Matthew_Ane. If you're listening on audio, you want to know how to spell my last name, it's A as in Apple, H as in Harry, N as in Nancy, E as in Echo. And if you're watching on YouTube, please click the bell below to subscribe to the channel and give you a notification every time we drop a new episode. Also, please do us a favor and leave a 5-star rating or review, on Apple or Spotify or wherever you may listen. It really helps out the show and goes a long way for our stuff and promotes the show for us. On top of that, if you want more than what we offer in this 30-minute podcast, please join us on the Subtext platform and become a member of the Diamond Club. You'll have direct access to Dom and I, be able to ask us questions on trades, on pickups, a whole bunch of other stuff, even starts or sit situations. So you want to join us on there, you get free 2 weeks free. The link is in the description below. And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment right now more. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's $150 win or lose. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started today. And guys, we got a great episode today. I'm very excited. Thank you everybody for all their birthday wishes to me. I'm feeling it today. I promise you that. Shouldn't have went out drinking on a Wednesday, but is what it is. But yeah, thank you guys. You guys are the best fans out there. And for you new people, just thank you for being here. And Dom wasn't able to join me today. He was running a little late from work. So I said, yo, man, take the night off. You gave me a night off last night. Let's enjoy yourself. So figured, hey, let's talk prospects. Let's talk some fun stuff. I haven't been able to do since the season started more of like a predictions of, what players' outcomes are. And I'm kind of missing it. And this is the perfect time. Super 2's around the corner. We're going to have prospects being called up pretty much almost immediately following. So we want to get on it and we want to be aware and, have either guys already stashed or guys that, we kind of want to keep an eye on, and maybe we're stashing them as it gets closer. So usually Super 2 is very, very, what's the word? It moves and it changes and nobody ever really knows when it's coming, but it's just sometime in May. And, once that hits, whatever that contractual date that it is this year, boom, players get called up. So it's bound to happen soon. A lot of players imminent. We have a lot of great names, and I am super excited. So let's hop in. Let's talk about probably one of the biggest prospects, in my opinion, and that's James Wood. James Wood had a monster spring. Really thought he might, somehow make a case to break the opening day lineup. Obviously, that wasn't going to happen because, Washington is in no rush to bring up their top prospect. Especially with the way the team is performing. Maybe if they were in a win now situation, it would have happened or happened right out the gate. But no, there's no reason. Plus, after the Super 2, they get an extra year of control. So why wouldn't they do it then, right? So ultimately, he just performed. He was able to go against big body men and real MLB talent versus the minor league talents that he's been seeing. And he did really good during spring, right? 44 at bats. He had 13 runs. He had a double, a triple, 4 bombs, 7 ribs, 3 stolen bases. Walked 11 times to 13 strikeouts, batted a whopping 364, had an OBP of 509, a slug of 705, and an OPS of 1213. Fantastic numbers for your first real shot at the big league talent and see how you're going to hold your own against it. And you know what? It's crazy. He hasn't slowed down. He actually got even better in the minors. So this is encouraging, which tells me that he might get the call up, right? So he's already had 96 plate appearances, 80 at bats. He had 18 runs already, 8 doubles, 2 bombs, 7 ribs, 5 stolen bases. He's walked 16 times to 22 strikeouts. He's batting 300, an OBP of 417, a slug of 475, an OPS of nice 892. Like, James Wood is a great talent, big boy too. And to see him consistently, go from the spring training to then go into the minors again and pretty much just continue his warpath and being good just shows that, like, hey, he's ready. And I think I think Washington knows that already. It's just a matter of when are they willing to pull the trigger, and you know how soon do they want to give up on the control of James Wood? And I mean, anything is humanly possible. So right now, I think James Wood probably does get the call once Super Two hits, and he's somebody I'm probably stashing. Some people have already started. I know in all my leagues, pretty much James Wood has been stashed, and I mean, people are already on it. But I mean, let me see his ownership real quick. He's 16% owned, so he's out there in a hell of a lot of leagues. So, excuse me. Um, Pretty much just go out and stash him, whether it's by the end of the weekend or maybe end of next week. You need to start because I have a feeling his ownership percentage is going to start skyrocketing, especially if they start getting a little bit more hype on the news. Like you start seeing a couple more alerts about James Wood than you normally are, then he's about to get the call. So there's a couple in like tells just based off of the industry of essentially sports media. So James Wood imminent, and boom, let's start stashing. But all right, let's keep going here. We're going to talk Paul Skeens, another guy that's a little bit more on like the controversial side of whether or not he's going to get the call. I mean, there's a world where he does, right? Like, I wouldn't even be surprised because he's a fantastic talent. But what tells me he might not is, you know, the fact that he only got one start and played 2 games in spring, was only allowed to go 3 innings, and kind of like one of those things where it's like, okay, dude, like if they're not willing to roll him out against this talent, then they're going to take it real slow, and they have so far too. So right now, even in the minors where he's pitching fantastic, he's only pitched about 17 innings. So they're taking him slow. Now this can be construed and taken 2 different ways, right? So you can look at him and just say, okay, maybe they're saving his arm for when he gets the call, which, hey, they could. They 100% could. Um, and there's a world and a way where he's called up Super 2, or maybe probably around the time that, like, you know, Yuri Perez was called up, which was like end of May, beginning of June. And he goes until All-Star break, gets sent back down, comes back up, and then he's playing till the end of the season, essentially. Skeens can totally have that that kind of pathway and get called up that way. Or he doesn't come up until, next year. There's 2 worlds surrounding that. I know a lot of people are stashing him. Like Skeens is one of the higher guys that I see is like people are trying to at least keep him and try and keep him. He's at like trying to stash him essentially 63% rostered. So people I guess are under the impression that he's going to get the call, and I'm not quite sold yet on that, like whether that's going to happen or not. But he's one I don't know if I'm stashing. Maybe because of the hype, maybe I try and get him, and then after Super 2, if he doesn't get the call after that week, then dump him. But hey, I mean, anything's possible. If you join us on the Diamond Club, you'll get the alert, and I'll let you know the second he gets called up. So, that maybe that's just another way you take it. Let him sit out there, and then boom, you get the, you get the text from us, and boom, you go. So Paul Skeens, kind of hesitant, not sure what his outlook is, but I also too want to just talk about what he's doing in the minors to kind of give you, because this is his first real shot at the minors. Well, he did a little bit last year, don't get me wrong, but it was like 6 innings. But this is a little bit more of him, right? So 17 innings pitched, 34 strikeouts, which is bananas, a whopping ERA of 0.53 and a whip of 0.88. Paul Skeens is a beast. He throws gas. He's a fantastic prospect. Probably one of the better, well, not probably, one of the better pitching prospects. Obviously, I don't think he's better than Painter once he eventually returns, but Paul Skeens right now is probably the top pitching prospect, in my opinion. And Paul Skeens is, going to be fire. So, again, not sure what's going to happen. Wouldn't stash him. I'd wait, not clog up a roster spot, and probably stash one of these other guys that are coming up right after this break, where we'll be talking about Junior Caminero, what his outlook is. Conor Norby, when should we see him? Because you probably need a second baseman with, Albie's going down and a whole bunch of other players and losing Geloff today. And then we got Joey Lupervito, who's just smashing the ball across all the minors. But before that, when we get into all these guys, we do have a quick ad break for you. This Mother's Day, get something thoughtful for your mom on DoorDash. Surprise her from wherever you are with fresh bouquet, the latest tech, gift cards, self-care treatments, and more to make her day that much better. Use Locked On MLB. Use a code Locked On MLB to get 50% off your next order up to $15 when you spend 15 plus on your next flour, convenience store, grocery store, or retail order now on DoorDash. Pair flowers with gift cards so she can celebrate any way she wants. Is she a bookworm? Try a bookstore gift card. Does she love a good latte? Get her a gift card to her favorite coffee shop. You can't go wrong. Plus, you can get the convenience of shopping on your phone so you don't have to be the one scrambling, driving around to whatever store is open that will have something your mom may happen to like. Trust me, I've been there. Sorry, mom. It was a long time ago, I promise. Order now and get everything you need for Mother's Day on DoorDash. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB to get 50% off your next order, up to $15 when you spend 15 plus on your next flour, convenience, grocery, or retail order now on DoorDash. That's Locked On MLB. Order using DoorDash today. Terms and conditions may apply. Are you watching Fox Sports or ESPN all day on the TV? Have you turned down the volume with all that shouting? Make the switch to Locked On Sports today, a free 24/7 streaming channel program for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the screaming. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't miss analysis, opinions, and news streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channel app. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day, 7 Eastern, streaming live on Locked On Sports Today 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube or the Amazon free TV app, channel app. I apologize. Also, guys, introducing the Locked On Fantasy Baseball Diamond Club on Subtext, your ultimate fantasy baseball companion this season. Rely on our dynamic content. Get real-time alerts right to your phone, including waiver wire rankings, instant call-up notifications, injury actions, and a whole lot more. Stay ahead of your fantasy leagues by joining the Diamond Club on Subtext, where your path to victory begins. Subscribe now. Elevate that fantasy baseball experience. And, guys, you also get free 2 weeks, so there's no commitment. But I promise you're going to want to commit because you're not going to want to miss out on all the stuff you can get from us. Plus, you can ask us questions. So that's valuable enough just to get on there for that. So join the Diamond Club today in the description below. All right, let's get back to baseball, right? And I got to talk about Junior Caminero, right? Junior Caminero, we all thought he was going to break camp. He looked electric. He looked like he was going to be the guy. I'm super excited for what he can do with his, MLB career, but unfortunately didn't break camp. I think it's more because he didn't show the pop that, he was kind of known for in the minors, but he still batted 269, did manage to get a home run, and had 26 at bats. They just didn't want to, I guess, maybe control. Rays are weird, right? Like, so they like to just instead of getting that extra pick for compensation or anything of the sort, they just want to have control of their guys because they don't like to pay guys. They're money ball to the T. So the Rays are just going to do what the Rays do, and they don't care who says it. So Super 2 is one of the most likely outcomes for him to be called up. And you know what? I'm all for it. I mean, as long as I can have him on my team. He's not really crushing the ball so far since he's been down in the minors. It's the kind of the same pattern of, what he did in spring, where he has 38 at bats right now, 7 runs, 2 doubles, 2 bombs, 9 ribs, a stolen base, 4 walks to 11 strikeouts, batting 263, has, an OBP of 333, a slug of 474, an OPS of 807. So some of that's good, some of that's bad. Um, you know, I have all the confidence in the world that the kid's going to be fine once he gets the call to the bigs, because you look at 2023 season, what he did in the minors, he had 460 at bats, he had 85 runs, he had what, 18 doubles, 6 triples, 31 bombs, 94 ribs, 5 stolen bases, walked 42 times to 100 strikeouts, batted 324. He had a ridiculous minor league season last year. And the only thing is he didn't play in AAA last year, so they probably wanted to get him a little bit more taste there too, and then probably get the call up at Super 2. I think he's doing his thing. I think the batting average is kind of more of where I think he's going to be. You look at players like Bobby Witt, who hit for average, who really hit 250 when he got the call. Caminero might just be that. And I know he has great plate discipline where he'll walk more, but at the same time, the batting average may not show up on the StatCast because, hey, he's just flying out or something's going wrong. Caminero is just going to be good when he does get the call. Him, I'm stashing. He was dropped in a whole bunch of leagues where he was drafted, and now is the time to really just go out. If he's out there on your waivers, you pretty much need to go and get him. He is right now 35% owned, probably all the way up from like 65% owned after draft season. So Caminero is out there and you need to stash him now because he's going to be one of the electric players that I think is a for sure candidate to play this year. So Junior Caminero, mustache. All right, let's talk about this next guy here, and that's Conor Norby. And Norby is interesting. I like him a lot. I actually, on one of my dynasty leagues, I drafted him pretty highly, and I'm all about it. Norby is another one of those Baltimore prospects that are just ridiculous and just going to do their thing. And when they get the call, they're going to be awesome. So, second base, I might add, and he's going to have outfield eligibility. Like, you don't want to pass on this. And two, he performed in spring this year too when he got a little lick of it. Had 29 at bats, was able to have 7 runs, 3 doubles, a bomb, 3 ribs, a stolen base, batted 276. Like he looked good, and now he continued that, and he's looking even better in the minors in AAA. So right now he has 98 at bats. He has 20 runs, 6 doubles, 5 bombs, 18 ribs, 2 stolen bases, walked 10 times to 29 strikeouts, and he's batting 296, an OBP of 364, a slug of 510, and an OPS of 874. Like this kid is going to be good. Like he's had seasons in the minors like last in 2022 where he hit 29 home runs. 2023 he had 21 home runs. Dude has power. He does steal bases too. He's had 10, 16, 18 in the books. He does get busy. The dude will probably be like a 25, 30 home run guy with at least 15 to 20 stolen bases, batting for average, has good plate discipline. I like Norby. And the opportunity is going to come. It's just a matter of, where is Westberg going to go? Where is Gunner going to go? And then they'll make room for Norby. He has to get the call soon. Like there's no doubt in my mind. He's another one that probably should be up by Super 2, and I think is going to be absolutely stellar. Let's just hope he doesn't have the same trajectory and start like Jackson Holliday is having right now. So we'll see. It's a hit or miss. None of these guys are surefire things that are just going to perform out the gate. These are the guys that most likely will, but again, it's no guarantee. All these guys are scratch offs, but I rather take a scratch off than, not have one, and then you're out. Then you lose. That, you can't play the game, can't win if you don't play the game. So play the game. Pick the guy that's available and that is most likely going to hit. That is the name of the game here. So Conor Norby, mustache right now. Honestly, do it. Now, I'm going to sneak this next guy in before the next break, and that's Joey Lupervito. Man, he came out of left field for me. And I'm excited. I'm excited for this kid. He looks like he's got power. Talked about him a couple weeks, like two weeks ago, I believe, on like a mustache guy, but I feel like he needs to be addressed again. And it's because he's still hitting the ball like an animal. He has 12 home runs through 21 games. He's at 86 at bats, 25 runs, 3 doubles, 12 bombs, 26 ribs, 2 stolen bases. He's batting 279. He has 12 walks to 32 strikeouts. His OBP is a 373. His batting average is 279. He has a slug of 733, which is monstrous. He has an OPS of 1105. Like, let's go. Lupervito is coming out of nowhere, and there is a path for him to play. And that's where Jose Abreu is playing. He can play first, even though he's an outfielder right now. His outfield eligibility, he can play first. And, they just pretty much got to cut their ties and just pretty much say, Abreu, go away. Just go away. Like, cut him, send him down, do whatever they got to do. Get Lupervito up there because he needs to perform. And this kid is going to be an instant, what do you call it? Producer for you week in, week out. If he starts hitting the ball and hit the ground running from the second he gets called up. And I think there's a good chance he will. Again, nothing's guaranteed, but Lupervito is 100% one of the guys I'm very confident in that could do it. So Lupervito is somebody I'm stashing everywhere. Now, guys, also too, before we hit the break, none of these guys, you don't stash more than one of these guys. You take one. I don't stash any more than that. You're clogging up your bench unless you have deep bench, like 9, 10 bench spots, then you can do it. If not, you have a shallow bench, only one of these dudes. Do not load up because I promise you will regret it. But all right, before we move on and I talk about, a bunch of other prospects, and then if you're watching on YouTube, I also have some mustache guys that are on the IL, and we might get to them, we might not. but we'll see. I'm excited to talk about everybody on this. We got guys like Kobe Mayer, Ricky Tiedemann, Drew Thorpe, and so much more. So stick around. We'll be back right after this. It's playoff time in the NBA and NHL, and baseball is in full swing. FanDuel is your place to bet on every game right now. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's $150 win or lose. Bet on everything from slap shots to home runs to slam dunks. Make it interesting. Let's make it interesting too with live same game parlays. Bet against your rival team, and make the day interesting. We could root against them, and your team's not playing, but let's root against your rival team, like the Cowboys or I don't know Boston. Let's place a bet for them to lose. It's always fun to root against your rival. And you can do it all on the app that is safe, secure, and super easy to use. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com/locked on and make your bet and make your bet an automatic win. FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. All right, guys, we're back here. We got 10 minutes left of this podcast, and I promise it's going to be a good ending. And I want to talk about Kobe Mayo. Kobe Mayo is, one of the other, Baltimore prospects that are just, you know, dying to see what they're going to do. And the team is just great. The dude is 6'5", 230 pounds. He's a big boy, and he's ready. The only thing that was a little interesting was he didn't show his power off in spring training, but he did hit for average. He batted 360 during spring. He only was able to get one home run, but he looked good. And the only reason we're talking about, these players with their spring training numbers, this is the only real opportunity we have to talk about where they've went against big league talent. And it was interesting. He was allowed to go 50 at bat, like go 23 games and have 50 at bats. Guys like Caminero only had like 23 and such. It's interesting. I think they were on the fence of whether to call him up or not. So that's what I think is why I think he's going to be up at Super 2. And he came up. I mean, when he got sent back down, he started doing his thing really heavy. So far on the year in AAA, he's had 98 at bats, 18 runs, 6 doubles, a triple, 7 home runs, 20 ribs, 3 stolen bases. Walk to strikeouts, he's walked 6 times to 32 strikeouts, batting 327 though, with an OBP of 374. He has a slug of 622, which is monstrous, and an OPS of 996. Kobe Mayo is going to be awesome. So it's weird, right? And I hate it. He's in my division. I'm a Yankee fan, right? But Kobe Mayo has all the tangibles of like physical attributes where he can be essentially the next Aaron Judge. Same kind of big body boy, heavy boy with a whole bunch of muscle, hits for yard. Kobe Mayo can be dangerous. So, like, he's another guy like that I feel is overlooked because there's so many overwhelming prospects this year that you don't want to overlook him either. I love what this kid could possibly do. So stash him as well. Again, one of them, he's probably going to be one of the names that if all these other guys aren't available, Mayo most likely is, and he might pan out too. So, like, these are all guys I'm confident in. Mayo is one of the top guys there. So, Kobe Mayo, mustache. All right, we got this next guy here. Ricky Tiedemann. Switch it up a little bit. We'll do a little pitching prospect. Something we haven't talked about one since Paul Skeens. Ricky Tiedemann. Honestly, I thought he would have already gotten the call, but because they were talking about him possibly breaking camp and whatnot, but he didn't. He got hit around a little bit in spring too. I mean, it was only through 6 innings, but he started 3 games, so it was like short little instances. So I don't think it was like his true picture of what he's doing and who he is. So I'm going to just like slide on bypast it. But right now, like even so, you're looking at his ERA on the season right now. He still has a 5.63 ERA, but I just it's not telling the whole story. Something's going on. Like they're still talking about him possibly making the roster, you know, and seeing what's going and getting him up there. Essentially, Tiedemann is someone I'm not really running out there and going to stash. He's somebody I'm keeping here. If he does get the call, I might do a speculative ad. But like he's low priority in terms of all the other names I've talked about. Essentially, Tiedemann's going to be good at some point. Tiedemann does have a track record of being a top end guy. Even in 2023 last year, he had a 3.68 ERA. He had 44 innings pitched and 82 strikeouts. Like he has a strikeout machine. He will pump out over a K per 9. Tiedemann is very capable. Maybe they're working on a pitch. Maybe they're working on something else, but ultimately, I don't think what we're seeing here on the stat board is not what is actually going on and not who he actually is. So Ricky Tiedemann, keep an eye out for. Don't stash, but watch out. All right, next guy here is Drew Thorpe. Drew Thorpe is another guy. Got the trade over from the Yankees in the what do you call it? In the trade for Soto. And then went to the Padres. Now on the White Sox. He just got moved around within like a month. He had to move twice. I can't even imagine. But he's looking good. He looked good last year too. So this year so far, he has 24 innings pitched. He has 21 strikeouts. He has a .75 ERA. He has a .875 WHIP. He looks fantastic. Last year, he was able to get together 139 innings pitched and 182 strikeouts with a 252 ERA and a sub 1 WHIP at 1.9. I mean, at a .98. He looked really good. He is a fantastic pitching prospect. Do I think they're going to call him up? Possibly. I don't know when, if, how. He might be more of a September call up, but I want to put him out there now for people to just be aware and have him in the forefront of your mind because he's a great pitching prospect, and I feel you need to pay attention. He gets that call, he can be an instant contributor, or he could flop, but I think he can, do his thing. There's all hype right now, right? I have no definitive answers. All these guys could flop, but ultimately, I think that these guys, again, I'm going to repeat myself, are the most likely to perform once getting the call. So Drew Thorpe, I am in love with. I cannot wait to see what he's going to do this year if he gets the call. But all right. Let's start talking about some guys on the IL. I might be only able to fit in one, maybe two. And I want to start off with Jason Dominguez. Dominguez came in for a short little stint last year, and then unfortunately had to get Tommy Johns. But in that short, like literally week, man, did he look ridiculous. He had 31 at bats. He had 6 runs. He had a double, 4 bombs, 7 ribs, a stolen base. Walked twice to 8 strikeouts, was batting .258. He had an OPS of 980, a slug of 677. Like, he looked good. Okay. Unfortunately, this is what we had to deal with. So Dominguez is somebody you have to go out there and stash now on your IL. So I think he should be back. If I'm thinking same timetable as like Harper. So I would say June. So we're about like a little over a month out before I think he gets his first shot. Obviously, I think the power is going to be a little zapped, possibly. But then again, you look at Ohtani, and Otani's just fine. So maybe Jason Dominguez will be fine. Everybody heals different, and he's a young pup, so he probably will be fine. And the power possibilities are fantastic. The speed possibilities are fantastic. Dude hits about like anywhere from 265 to 273 in the minors. So I think 258 is kind of realistic, maybe 260. And he's going to do his thing. And you look at his walk to strikeouts, and he's been good at behind the plate with that too, with the plate discipline. So he won't kill you in points leagues. I think he needs to be stashed now, if not already. Let me pull up his ownership percentage too. He's at 25%. So he's out there in 75% of leagues, 100%. If you see him out on your waivers, add him now, stash him, because I promise once he's back from the IL, he's gonna kill it. Like, he's without a doubt not a lottery ticket for me, a scratcher. He's gonna be good. He already proved it. He's gonna continue. Jason Dominguez, must add, mustache. All right, I actually am not able to get another one in. I apologize, but we'll probably do this episode from here on out every Friday just to get it going until the Super 2. Sorry about my kid. We're going to be rocking and rolling. We'll see you on Monday for, another must-add waiver wire players and a whole bunch more throughout the week. So stick around. Please like, subscribe, comment, rate, review, everything under the sun. Check us out on Diamond Club on Subtext. The link is in the description below. I promise you won't regret it. So without a doubt, guys, have a great weekend, and pretty much peace out.